CK2610 tractor, and today what we're going to be doing is putting I'm getting a grapple later this week hopefully, and we'll be putting a third function kit on this tractor, and that way the third function gives you that extra hydraulic function that you need in the front for the grapple to work, and you can run other implements up front with it. This tractor is a 2016. I bought it brand new. You couldn't beat it. It was like, I had an old tractor, I was working on it more than I was using it. Ended up buying this thing, making payments on it, and you know, this thing's paid for itself 10 times over, I feel like. I use it for just about everything, especially automotive stuff. I mean, I pick up pallets, I picked up truck cabs, I picked up all kinds of stuff, and this is just a little 24.5 horsepower tractor. But yeah, I mean, I love this thing, and I'm excited to get this third function on here, and that way I can use a grapple to pick stuff up, pick trees up, pick brush up, all kinds of stuff. So let's hop into this. It should be a fairly simple process, so let's get on it. Alright, I got my third function kit from Summit Hydraulics. It just came in the mail today. It took about 3 days or so, not a big deal. And I already went through this video once, but my volume wasn't on, or my microphone. So here we go, we'll run through it again. So here's the instructions for it. It seems fairly simple, especially with using this diagram. I mean, you can probably just do everything you need to do just by looking at this diagram. I don't have hoses for this, so I'm going to have to buy those locally. I could get them off the site, but I wasn't sure exactly what hoses I would need, the fittings and all that. So I'd rather know for sure and then maybe just try to get them locally and go from there. This looks like maybe a diverter or something that came with it. Nice chunk of aluminum here. It's pretty hefty. You got a couple band clamps. What else we got? A bunch of fittings here. Just a bunch of miscellaneous fittings. Looks like a mounting bracket. So I'm guessing this would mount. I can mount the pump to this, and I'd mount this to I'm going to mount it to my loader so it's up out of the way. Some people mount them low, but I don't know. It depends on what you're doing. If I'm in the woods, I'm going to be using a grapple, so I'm not really trying to have anything rip that up. This looks like the handle with a switch, 2 switches. Yep, up and down here, and it's got nice weather pack fitting or connectors and all that. It looks like. So this thing should be fairly weather tight or weatherproof, I guess. Here's some more of those electrical connectors. Some mounting bracket, it looks like, for, I'd assume this is for the pump itself, or whatever you would want to call it. And this thing probably weighs 10 pounds or so, maybe a little more. Feels well built. Yep, Summit Hydraulics directional valve. So that's what you would call it, a directional valve, I guess. So this is what I would probably mount to the side there on the front end loader. So that's what it came with, and we'll get everything mounted up. Then I'll go run. I measured the hoses already and what I'll need. So I already know the length. I just have to figure out the fittings, what fittings I need and all that. So we'll get all that squared away. We'll get this all on there first, and then I'll go run out, get those hoses, and I'm hoping I'll be good to go to pick those up or order them and get them within a day or so. But all right, we'll pack this thing up and we'll get that tractor in here. It's raining a bit, so we'll try to get it in here. I'm trying to get a break so it doesn't pour on me. But so this is her. This is the 2610. It's Kioti. I looked at John Deere. I looked at Kubota, and honestly, for the same horsepower tractor, this thing is built so much more stout. This is the size of a, this is a compact tractor. It's not a subcompact where you go Kubota or John Deere. This horsepower range is subcompact, so the tractor is tiny. This thing's got the frame and everything. I think axles also that the 35 horse tractor has, and the what is it, the 44 maybe or something. And it's got those have different hydraulic systems and probably different front end loader on it. They're more, a little bit more stout when it comes to like lifting capabilities and all that. But this thing does just about everything I need. I do wish it had a little more, a little bit more power when it comes to lifting things. But this thing, I can lift about 1,500, almost 1,600 pounds with it. And really the hard thing is just keeping weight in the back. I got this box blade, off Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something, brand new thing. I got it for $600, and this thing is great for doing my driveway and all that. So this thing got the front end loader on it. I'm gonna be welding a what's it called here? Just a piece of mesh, because as you can see, I had a tree push in and somehow completely missed the plastic and only hit the metal grill. Missed the plastic altogether. So I'm going to try to bang that metal grill back out and just put a big piece of mesh up through here and weld it. That way I have a little bit more protection there. So when it comes to doing this, the third function, you're going to have to get back in here. That's where your pump is, the hydraulic pump and all that. Right down there. So we'll pull this tire off. We'll jack this thing up, pull the tire off. That way we got some room to work. And we'll get this Summit Hydraulics third function kit in there. Alright, so here we have the pump itself, and then all the lines coming off of it. The majority of these go up to the loader. And then I believe we have the one, I want to say this is the, let me see, Power Beyond port. So those are the ones we're going to be using, and we'll get ready to pull a couple of these lines off. Alright, so our next step is going to be to remove the seat, and that way we can get to the top of the pump easily. So I'll do that. It's a couple of bolts here. You got 1, 2, and then the other 2. They're a little tougher to see. They're back in here. So you got 4 bolts there that you'll take off, and then you can just take the whole entire seat assembly off. So I'll get to that now. I can slide this up out front. Try to get down this way. Yep, so if you slide the seat all the way forward, you can easily access those 2 right there. So those are the next 2 I'll take out. And now you see why we did that. That way we can access that port right there. So we got the Power Beyond port, which is a little tough to see because it's darker, but this right here, and that pipe runs up underneath the seat here. That's a 19mm bolt head, so we'll hit the top one with the impact. The bottom one, you can get a crescent in there probably, but I find it's probably easiest to get this in there. There you go. And the paint is still on this thing, so it'll be a little tough at first. Now, once you loosen that back one there, you'll probably lose a tiny bit of fluid. This whole thing, you're going to lose some fluid during it, so that's not really a big deal. Get the impact, and we'll hit the top one. So you bust that paint right up. Alrighty. So you just thread them out. That other one, make sure you wipe all the debris, like the paint chips, away before you completely pull that off. This one, you just keep on threading it, and I'll go do it with two hands. It's a little easier, and come right back. Alright, we're back at it. I got the hydraulic lines with me, and I have them made up. I went a little bit longer in the front because I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to mount this yet, and so that's really the main reason. And I got all these lines made up at Napa, which, in all honesty, I wouldn't go that route. If you could, measure beforehand, and if you're not in a rush, I want to get this done before the weekend so I can use my grapple, and I'm paying for it. But I would definitely measure them beforehand. Make sure you got the fittings you need. So these fittings are they're 1/2 inch JIC fittings, which like Tractor Supply didn't have. You'd have to get adapters and all that. So, but all together, I think, let me see, I paid $220 for the long ones, $160 for the two short ones. So what's that put me at? $380, so almost $400. So I'm still saving a little money, but not a whole lot. If I would have just went with WR Long and had them, you know, they give you the lines and everything with it, I believe. So what I would do, you can get these lines for like $30 or something, depending on what length and all that you need. So roughly, probably a maximum of like $40. So what I would do, make sure you have the length you need. Make sure you have, with this kit, they're all 1/2 inch JIC fittings. Get them with the female ends, and order them online, or see if you can get them at your local Tractor Supply or hydraulic shop or tractor, maybe like a tractor store or something like that. But you definitely save a bunch of money. So I'm kind of kicking myself about that, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, and when you want to use something, you want to use it, and you don't even care. I mean, you try not to spend that much money, but sometimes it's worth it just so you can get the job done. Alright, let's zoom in on this. So up top here, I'm gonna run a 90. So I already have this broke loose. And I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna have to unthread the other one just so I get this pipe out of here. Get this 19 mil in there. This side out. this, throw it under there, get hydraulic fluid all over that stuff instead of me. And then I'm just going to take the 90 and I'll install the 90 up here. Alright, so this kit doesn't come with the right adapters at all. I'm not even sure what size thread this is. I got a 1/2 inch and it doesn't work, so I think it's 1/2 inch, but it's a tighter thread pattern or finer thread. So now I gotta go try and figure out how to. Now I gotta go return other fittings that I bought, and because this doesn't work. 3/4 16 thread. I don't know what this is. So just run to the store again. Alright, so after running around like a chicken with my head cut off, or its head cut off, I guess, I had to run to about 30 minutes from here to get this damn adapter fitting. So this is it here. So we need an 18mm, which is what the Kioti needs for the Power Beyond, which is what this is. So I had to get adapters to make that work, and that cost me another 35 bucks. So this thing is just nickel and diming the shit out of me, and it's frustrating. But so here we go. We get that fitting on there. Oh, that's nice. Fits right in there perfect. I'll use this one. I'll use this shorter one because they didn't have the fitting there, so they had to make another one here. So that was that. Cost me $18 for this thing. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. Alright, and then of course this is going to be sitting too tall. Dang, can't even make it up. Can't make it up. So let's try this on the other side then. See what kind of space we have here. I doubt we have much more. We've got none. So now we gotta rig something up. What can we rig up? This one, I'll have to do a 90 and I'll run it down. Maybe I'll just run, because this, I'll show you when I get this hooked in there. Got adapters on adapters on adapters. Let's hope we don't get any leaks from them. So if you see this here, this 90 ends up running right into it. Maybe I'll just run it straight and try to run it down through here, and that will be good enough for me. Okay, let's get all this threaded in there. We'll run the hoses and see how it looks, and then we'll tighten everything up. Alright, so now I was able to get the right adapters, which is an 18mm 90 to, I just used JSE 1. I mean a 1/2 inch, sorry. Now, I pulled this nut originally, and my 3-point wasn't working at all. I'm hoping when I put this nut back on there, it had like a little, I don't know, it tightened up to make the, I'm guessing to make the pressure flow a little higher. So now I'm going to put a 90 on this also, but I'm going to have to take, there's a another nut down below with a sleeve, so I'll have to pull that off just so I get that 90 tightened in there. and then work on tightening that up after. Alright, now we got the lines all hooked up properly. That thing's a bear to get to. That one right there. And I had to do that just so I can get that right 90 out of the way. And then if you can see, there, I just got a 90 to a 90, and that comes right down. I'm gonna re-zip tie all this because I had to pull it apart. And that's it. She's good to go. So I'm gonna start her up, check for leaks, make sure everything's working like it should be, and we'll go from there. Alright, and real quick, I'm just gonna attach these. So what you want, there's a letter P here. You want that on the same side. There's a little pin on this manifold. You want that P lined up with that on the same side. And that's it. And then you just thread those Allen screws in there, and then that's one unit. Alright, back at it. So now I have my bracket. I just spray painted it black. You don't need to do whatever you want. I don't have orange laying around, so I always have black laying around. And then I just marked where I'm going to drill 2 holes, and it's going to mount just like this. You got your quick connects or whatever here for the loader. There's 2 bolts there, so I just lined them up. I'm just going to line them up like this, and that'll have my valve. See what we got here. My valve will be right about here, which isn't a bad spot. It's up out of the way, and I'll be running with these lines pretty tight. So I'll probably just run the lines also through, there's this through the hoop up here, and then I'll just zip tie it to the rest of the lines. Now I just have to run double check to see here, but here's my Power Beyond port. I just marked it as PB just so I don't mix anything up, which I still have to tighten everything up. And then this will be running from the tank. This is how I have it set up. I'm hoping it works out good. It's kind of, there's a piece that's going to run here, so I might just shave a little bit off of the seat mount just so it doesn't come close to this line here, and we should be good to go. I think I already showed you how this thing is rigged up. Tower of adapters there. But I'm going to go drill this out. I'm not sure what size that is. I'll let you know after I do it, and we'll get it mounted up there. You're going to want, if you can see it on here, this is A and B ports. Those are going to face up. Your P and T ports are going to face down. P is to the Power Beyond, T is to the tank. Alright, I had to adapt it a little bit because, so all I did, I just canted it some, put it on an angle, that way I clear the loader arm here, and it's still awfully tight to it. So I might have to get a different fitting for here just to change the angle. I'll probably maybe a 45 or something just to get it away. But it looks fine for now. Or I could just shave that little edge off the loader arm where it is touching. We'll see how we get it going. Or go. Now we clear it. Perfect. Just bend that plate a little bit. Alright, so we got our lines run. So you got your power beyond. Runs up here to the power beyond. Then this one runs up to the tank. Up through here. And then that's just your overfill for the tank. And these are going to run up to your implement. So the other bracket, get these organized. And both of these, I had them made at 90 inches, which might be a little much. You could probably get away with a little shorter, but I'd rather have more than not enough, so it doesn't pull tight. And then I'll mount that right here, and we should be good to go. Front, this comes with a bracket that you can, I guess, drill holes in and bolt it in, or so the lines are going to run through these holes here. I'm just going to weld it onto the front here, just notched out so I can still get to that, that bolt. And then this will put my lines out here. I'm just going to tack it in for now, hook everything up and see how it works. Alright, got the lines ran. I just zip tied them. I gotta cut them still, but this way it stays nice and tight with the original loom. And then runs right down here. I was gonna run it inside here, but I actually decided to run it on top. That way it doesn't. We don't have any problems with any kind of pinching down here or inside here. So we just run it down. And they did give you fittings so you can go through this bracket with a, I guess it's a bulkhead connector, and then you got these fittings here. I couldn't use it on this one because I used it under the seat to get that extra height, so I took a grinder and I just ground down this metal just so I have enough space in between there where this is tightened down already, so I have a little bit of play in there, which is fine. And that way I was able to get the fitting tight, but then it's still solid. It's holding itself there. I just have this tacked in for now. I'm not really gonna go crazy fully welding it. I'll just weld each side here, and that's it. Because these shouldn't really move much. I mean, even with just the tacks right now, I'm moving this whole entire piece of metal. If you have a different tractor, if you don't have a Kioti, they give you these band clamps, and you know, those band clamps would be good for this rounded cross member here or something like this. But with the Kiotis, we have that plate there to protect the hydraulic hoses and lines. So that's it. It's done. It's in. I got to just do the electrical part of it, which is simple. This is all in there, solid. I just have to tighten everything down, and then finish zip tying all this up to keep it up out of the way. So far so good. Let's get everything buttoned up, and then get the electrical in there. I already removed the knob on the handle. It's just one Phillips screw, and that's it. So this is what they give you. So this will run to 12-volt source, I'd imagine. I'm going to read a little bit more about it, but and then this would be your ground. And then you have the two switches on here. It's actually a nicely made handle. Feels solid. It's not light or flimsy feeling. I feel like you could probably hit it with a hammer, it won't break. So we'll take this apart and get it slipped on there, and we'll be in good shape. Alright, so I got the handle installed. You're just going to back off all these bolts. They're all on Allen key, and you can mount this however you want. I personally mounted it so that my thumb can control the toggle switches on here. And there's also, this comes with sleeves when you pull it apart. So you slide it down. You figure out you only had to remove one sleeve on this Kioti, and then it fits perfectly around the shaft for the joystick control. So I'll tighten these up. You don't want to go crazy tightening them because this is just, I mean, it's only plastic, so you don't want to strip them out or break, crack anything. But you also don't want it spinning on there. So I'll just slowly tighten it as I go, and we'll move on to running the electric. Looks like it's real simple, so move on to that next. Feels good. So I just ran it through the tractor. There's that little hole down there. I'm gonna run it along the bottom. That way I can kind of keep it clean and out of the way. You just connect this it's like a weather pack or weatherproof fitting or connector. So pop them together, make sure it locks in place, and then you can continue to run these down further. And then you continue and you mount these, or not mount, but you plug them right in here. Oh, it's got some crud in it. Alright. I'm probably gonna put some like Vaseline or something up here just to keep water from kind of sitting in there. I'm kind of trying to think of what a good way. I'm gonna move this little zip tie because it's kind of keeping it. Nice, that a sharper knife there. There we go. I didn't want a real sharp bend at either end there because, and I'll just wrap them there so it keeps them straight, because then that's how you'll get that wire breaking. And then I'll just run this along with a little long, we'll put a loop or so in it, and I'll just run it along with the hoses down here. Get this down here. I'm just going to run it along with the hoses, zip tie it all together. And then you got your ground and your hot. So you hook the hot to a 12-volt source on here. I'm going to look to see if there's any under the hood. If there's not, then I'll just run a wire to the battery. They give you, it's kind of annoying, because they do give you a fuse, but they don't give you an inline fuse holder or anything. So now I have to go to the store and get an inline fuse holder. Oh, actually, no, maybe they did give me one. It's just funky looking. It's not one of those weather tight ones. Let me see what we got here. Oh yeah, they did give me one. So yep, they did. So here it is. It's not the nicest one. It's almost worth going out and buying one that is sealed and everything. 'Cause I couldn't imagine this is going to hold up very long on a tractor, especially if you leave it outside for any period of time. But I might just throw this on there for now, and until I do get one, and we'll go from there. Alright, so here's what we're looking at. Here's a line coming down from the switch, and I just have all this zip tied up out of the way. I pulled it up tight just because it was dangling real low, and it's in there pretty good. And then, so for wiring, I just ran underneath. You got the red and the black. I grounded it here, and then I ran the red. I just followed the wiring loom that goes to the power side of the battery. Here's my inline fuse, which I'm gonna tape that up. So that's in there, runs in line. I'm gonna zip all of that up too, and then runs right to the power. So she is good to go. You can hear it if you listen closely, so we know it's working. There's actually, so that works, good to go. So now we're just gonna wait on the what's it called to come, my grapple, which should be here tomorrow. And so when that gets here, I'll put a video. Hopefully it does come tomorrow. I'll put a video of it operating on here. Hopefully everything's good to go. The only thing I did notice with mounting the hoses here, which is kind of the only place you can mount them. So when you open up this, you got to be careful, because it's just resting on there. That's it, maxed out. So over time, that's gonna. It's not like I'm lowering this thing all the time, but just be aware. It might even be worth just unhooking it, just so it doesn't wear on it. If you're gonna be, working on this stuff for an extended period of time. Hey, while I got the tire off and everything, I figured I might as well swap these filters on this thing, because it's almost due. It's not. So another thing I want to do with this tractor before I use it is I had a couple of heavy branches and trees and stuff. They pushed in my grill, and somehow I didn't break the plastic, but I pushed the metal mesh back in here pretty hard. So I wanted to I got some nice heavy mesh. I'm not sure the thickness on this. I think it's 11 gauge or something, but so basically what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to run it just like so, and weld it up right to, there we go, right to the front of my push bar, and that way this will prevent anything from pushing through there and damaging anything. So I just hung it with a piece of wire, that way I could swing it and get it lined up kind of the way I want it. And that looks pretty darn good to me. I just don't want it to interfere with the edge here when you break it down, so it could still work and function the way it's supposed to. yeah, we'll just take the, this will take all the debris and everything from shoving it right into the front of the tractor, which is nice. So I'll just grind. I mean, they're fine actually. They don't look terrible. So I'll just cut all these sharp edges off and just to clean it up, and that's it. She's good to go. Just to kick these hoses out because that's a little too tight for my liking. I just sliced the crap out of my finger. Dang. Oh boy, at least something. Alright, well, I think I'm going to quit for tonight. I was going to weld this up, but I think I'm going to quit for now. So, yeah, I guess that's a pretty good one. Dang. Alrighty. Yep, that'll do for now, and then we'll get back. I'm going to get the hood back on, and then tomorrow I'll test the grapple out. Thanks for checking out this episode of Holly's Garage. I know it was this was kind of a pain in the butt, this project, just because of the small fittings I ended up needing. I had to run all over the dang place to go try and find them. But got it working, and then picked up this sweet grapple. So that other grapple I threw up for sale. Hopefully I could sell it. If not, not real sure what I'll do. I might just cut that old plate off and weld a full-size plate on the back that will work with this quick attach, because this grapple here it's heavy duty, man. It's like, it's all ½ inch, it's heavy. So probably next thing I'm gonna do is fill these rear tires up with some fluid. I'll probably do a video on that, and that way I have a little bit of a better ballast in the back there. And that's it. But thanks for checking this out. If you like what you saw, just give me one of those thumbs up. And then if you want to see more, you know, maybe a little bit, I'll be doing a little bit more with the tractor here and there. Give me a subscribe. But if you want to see other stuff, like, I mean, I'm doing a little bit of everything. So mainly old Chevy trucks is what I'm working on, and then international. But I do a little bit of tractor stuff here and there. So if you guys do want to see more of that kind of stuff, just let me know in the comments below, and I can try to, you know, work them in a little bit more often. But thanks a lot for checking this out, and I'll see you guys around.